Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Welcome to Shaping Tomorrow on IKIM Radio. I'm Shafiq Mohanuddin, Senior Research Officer at IKIM. And in this episode, on the topic of revisioning the economy, Iqtisad Ihsani approach, we are once again honored to have with us Dr. Adi Setia, who is the General Coordinator of Worldview Islam Research and Advisory, WIRA. Assalamualaikum, Doctor.
Waalaikumsalam.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. In the previous episode, we have begin our discussion on this topic based on your article, The Islamic Gift Economy, a brief conceptual outline, which was a paper you originally delivered in South Africa back in 2009. In the previous episode as well, we learned about what was your foundational basis that led to how you define and articulate the entire system of this Islamic gift economy or Iqtisad Ihsani. And if I can read from your paper on the definition of this Islamic gift economy, you said that it is the sharing by mutual giving and receiving of natural and cultural abundance to fulfill warranted human needs. And also further down below in this paper, I think you mentioned that the fact that this is to be operationalized by a systematic integrative revival of the mechanisms as embodied in traditional fiqh of ibadat and muamalah, such as the zakat, wakaf, sadaqah, hibah, fara'id, wasiyah, qard hasan, musyarakah, and so on. And you suggested finally that there is an underlying vision in there, which is more about serving the public or the common good rather than individual private interests. So, Dr. Adi, maybe we could hear from you about this definition of yours to begin with. Please, Dr. Adi.
Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, the Islamic gift economy, this is the current, and to me, I think it's rather finalized official definition of the Islamic gift economy. So, the Islamic gift economy is the provisioning and sharing by mutual giving and receiving through fair social and commercial exchange of natural and cultural abundance for realizing material and spiritual well-being. So, okay. So by the term Islamic, we refer to what conforms to the Islamic vision of truth and reality, right? And by gift, we refer to the understanding and practice of ihsan. And ihsan is as indicated in the famous hadith of Jibril, al-ihsanu an ta'budallaha ka'annaka tarahu wa illam takun tarahu fa innahu yaraka. That you worship Allah, ihsan is that you worship Allah as you see him, and if you can't see him, then no, we need to be fully aware at every moment of your life that Allah is seeing you, right? And ta'bud Allah, that you worship is not just the salah. So the whole idea, so when worship is applied to muamalah, to the economic life, it's all about how can I turn my business, my vocation as an opportunity for worship. How can I turn my transactional life into an extension of my devotional life of worship, so that my transaction life is also a life of worship? If we don't do that, then then a very big or the major part of our life is not about worship. It will be about totally following your caprice, right? So most of our waking life is outside the home. It's
Yes.
in the public life of transaction, right? So it's worship or ibadah to be restricted to the four walls of the house or of the mosque, right? So that means so how do we apply the principle of ihsan, not only in the in devotion like salah or psalm, fasting or hajj, but also in the way we relate to people uh, in social economic transaction. So
Yes.
by extension, so the hadith also means that al ihsanu an tu'amila an-nasa or al-khalqu, meaning not just nas, human beings, but also all of creation. Is that we
Yes.
transact, so ihsan is that we transact with all of creation as if we see Allah. And if
Yes.
we can't see him, then Allah is watching us at every moment how we transact with creation. Right.
Yes.
All that is in the Quran about about preserving mizan, about not causing harm and fasa on the earth.
Mm.
Right. It's our fiqh.
Yes.
It's in our science of agriculture. It's in our muamalah. The whole of our muamalah is the science of relationship among people based on the principles of justice, al-adlu, fil muamalah, and the principle of liberality, or ihsan fil muamalah, and al-adlu fil muamalah and al-ihsanu fil muamalah are two of the five chapters in the Kitab al-Kasab wal Ma'ash of the book 13 of the yeah.
Mm.
So that's what we mean by gift, right?
Right.
And the ethical moral precept in all transactions is based on it's uh, based on this verse. Hal jazaa'ul ihsani illa al ihsan. We all read that, right? You always put on the tape and hear al Qari al Minshawi read that surah or Rahman, right? Hal jazaa'ul ihsan illa al ihsan, which is it not the the recompense for ihsan is for ihsan, right? So that's what I mean by gift, meaning that in our job, in our vocation, the first consideration is not making money. It's what I said. How can I contribute
Mm.
to ihsan? How can I express ihsan in my choice of business and my choice of job, my choice of vocation, my choice of study at the university, so that so so to this skill I I show ihsan.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
How can I show ihsan to the very to the very work of earning my livelihood, or
Yes.
how can I earn my livelihood through the promotion of the livelihoods of others, not at the expense of the livelihoods of others.
Mm.
Right now, the government of Penang is going to. I hope that that has been like postponed by the and anyway.
Mm.
I mean, so in Malaysia have all these type of crazy development projects that claim to promote economic growth or development, but based on destroying the livelihoods of folk living in those places who has so far been quite self-sufficient, right? And so, and by proportioning and sharing, the proportion is referred to infaq.
Mm.
The economy is not about consumption. And even the point about consumption, it's not consumption for its own sake, but the point of consumption is to provision, is to provide. So when we eat, it's consumption. No, I eat not because I eat because I want to provide energy to my body, right?
Yes.
So that I can do worship, so that I can be of service to creation. That is the purpose of eating, is of consumption. It's so that we can go on to provide some good to people. There are many hadiths. The greatest of you in the sight of Allah are those of most benefit to people, right? And sharing is about that. Sharing means a cooperation, helping one another, also sharing and to help the so a big part of the faith of Muhammad is also not, it's not only about contracts of commercial exchange, but also contract of social or charitable exchange, like the gift, like hiba, like wakaf, like the Qad Hasan. Qad
Yes.
Hasan is a totally a charitable act, and like lending things, like you lend your car or your house for free, right? And plus also the wasiya, the inherent law. It's about gifting your accumulated wealth back into the larger extended family. And the purpose of that 1/3 wasiya is so that you might also include those family members who are not included in the faraid, right? Right. So it's about sharing.
Mm.
And tuhibba li la yu'minu ahadukum hatta yuhibba li akhihi ma yuhibbu li nafsihi. That none of you truly believes unless they desire for people what they desire for themselves. What ita idil qurba, the Quran say, and give to the to the to 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 kin, to relatives.
Yes.
Wa 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 uh, uh, wa ikram ad-daif, yukrim jara, and to show honor to neighbors. But if you wait until the neighbors knock at your door to beg for help, that is not honoring. Honoring means you proactively know if your neighbor is in some form of trouble, and you proactively go and offer help. That is honoring. That's what I meant by rights of neighbors. So it's all about sharing, right? And by mutual giving and receiving, gifting. So the first duty, the first business of any business is not about making money. The first business of any business is to give good counsel to the customer, to give the best service, to give the best product that meets some needs in the community, that solve some problem. So that means our choice of livelihoods is a function of how we understand the current needs, the current problems in our community. And through our choice of business or our vocation, then we go towards meeting or solving those problems, right?
Yes.
So and that's what I meant by mutual giving and receiving. Uh, uh,
Yes.
and yeah, so you give a good service, a good useful beneficial product or service, and in return we get paid fair wage, fair price. So there's mutuality, meaning there's economic equity, there's parity. So no one side making a killing over the other, but each side is promoting the livelihood, the good living of the other side.
Mm.
Whereas the current economic system is all about systematic making a killing. Everyone is trying to make the best killing of the others, right? And we have multi-rubber stamping talk economy. And also giving and receiving through fair social mean charitable exchange like iba, like alcohol, like giving loan, and commercial exchange. And even the commercial exchange is a mutual exchange of useful things, good things, good product, good service in return for fair price, fair wage. So even the commercial exchange is actually charitable in nature intrinsically.
Mm.
The only difference the only difference between a commercial exchange and charitable exchange, the commercial exchange, there's a direct contact. Whereas in the commercial exchange, the return from what you give of sedekah, zakat, or awqaf, it's kind of indirect. It's kind of like
Yes.
not directly, but then it's through it's a creation of social solidarity in communities and a sense of belonging, right? So that's a kind of indirect return. You create the return is a form of over time you create this ecosystem that you feel that you belong to and it's worth living in, right?
Yes.
So giving and receiving of through fair social and commercial exchange of what of natural and cultural abundance. Natural means like also like wood or oil, and cultural abundance meaning sharing of skills, experience, knowledge, like wisdom, skills of natural and cultural abundance. We see resources, cultural or natural to be abundant because Allah says so. Allah is ultimate reality, right? And He says that cosmic reality is premised on abundance. That is a categorical statement of Allah, right? So wa in ta'uddu ni'matallahi la tuhsuha. If you would count the blessing of Allah, you can't finish counting them. And Quran say after you pray, then fantashiu fil ardi wabta'u min fadlillah. After you pray, go out, spread out through the earth and see the bounty of Allah. The bounty. We're talking about the bounty of Allah. Can the bounty of Allah be limited, be scarce? Right. So have this stupid mufti who's me rubber stamp the modern definition. So who is their God really? Allah or those or Lionel Robbins or monkeys or what? And so of nature and cultural abundance for realizing for what? What is the end? The point of all this exchange for realizing material well-being and spiritual well-being, in which the material well-being is pursued for the sake of the highest spiritual well-being, which is in terms of social solidarity, uh, the emotional need for family life, cultural needs, intellectual needs, spiritual needs, right? Those those needs, the higher level intangible needs that are like put into a schematic diagram of the hierarchy of human needs by Maslow, right? So anyway, to summarize, the modern economic system is it to, totally anti nature and anti nature and anti culture. It totally go it totally goes against the realities uh of cosmology and psychology, right? So, and that's a problem. So we need to redefine the economy along these lines, and then to work out is implication for creating alternative structures, for creating alternative institutions, and for creating alternative practices, alternative business model, business plans, alternative way of doing things in the context of work, industry, enterprise, right? So yeah, I think that's kind of summarize the meaning of this definition.
So Dr. Adi has given us a very profound and to me so Dr. Adi has given us a very profound and meaningful conception of how economy or the economics is ought to be understood in Islam or in the worldview of Islam, by showing us how it ought to be harmoniously integrated with what Islam teaches about ethics of the ethics of living, as well as our spiritual life, and also the fact that it ought to be harmoniously linked with preserving the human uh, nature, the human spiritual reality, as well as the environment. And I feel that with the goal of happiness, in the sense of sa'ada, the deeper sense of tranquility of the soul. And I feel that this is quite a revolutionary and quite a far-reaching contribution on the subject, in the sense that there are many discourses globally that are still grappling with these questions, especially in the domains of the environment, as well as the human well-being, as exemplified by the rise of mental health problems or challenges. So, ladies and gentlemen, that unfortunately that is the only time we have for this second episode with Dr. Adi Setia, on the topic of revisioning the economy, Iqtisad Ihsani approach, or the Islamic gift economy approach, which we have referred to Dr. Adi's article titled "The Islamic Gift Economy: A Brief Conceptual Outline," which he originally presented and prepared for a presentation in South Africa back in 2009. Thank you once again, Dr. Adi Setia. Ladies and gentlemen, inshallah, we hope to continue our conversation with Dr. Adi Setia on this subject. Inshallah, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.